The hour of convening having arrived, all members of the House will come to the floor and take seats. All members of the House will report to the floor. I'm going to ask the clerk to ring the bell. All members of the House will please come to the floor and take seats. Prepare for morning roll call. We're going to have the call of the roll. All members present will please vote green to signify their presence in the chamber, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? Have all members now voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines. Doorkeepers will please close the doors and keep them closed. We will have scripture reading and prayer by the chaplain, after which we will pledge allegiance to the flag. Our chaplain this morning will be introduced by the gentleman from the 61st House District, Representative Roger Bruce. Representative Bruce.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me in welcoming the Reverend Albert Love to be with us this morning. Before I speak about him, let's speak about what makes him great in part, his lovely wife, Miss Juanita Love. Reverend Love isn't that a great name for a preacher, Love? He is a native of Durham, North Carolina. He attended undergraduate school at St. Augustine College. He did graduate work in social work at the Atlanta University here in Atlanta. He is a veteran of the United States Air Force. For all of you military folks that are out there, I see our majority leader is giving him a pump up. He also attended divinity school at Emory University, the Candler School of Theology. He is a veteran of many civil rights organizations, SCLC, the People's Agenda. He was past president of the Concerned Black Clergy. And then he went on to start his own church. He is the founder and pastor of Boat Rock Baptist Church, for all of the Baptists in the house. Please join me in welcoming the Reverend Albert E. Love.
Good morning. Mr. Speaker, my state representative, Roger Bruce, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I want you all to know that I am familiar with protocol, but I will hurry ahead because in my denominational and traditional background that protocol will be established that we might start at the governor and go through all of the constitutional offices, and then when that's over, we would go through all the department heads. So I will dispense from that tradition and move right into the message. This morning, I want to talk with you briefly, which is an oxymoron for a Baptist sermon. But I want to talk with you briefly from this subject, the acceptable year. The acceptable year. Luke 4:18, the Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he has anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor. He has sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives and recovery of sight to the blind, to set at liberty those who are oppressed. And then verse 19 in part says, to proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord. Dr. William Holmes Borders, my father in the ministry and the former pastor of the great Wheat Street Baptist Church, I can hear him now exclaiming, the Old Testament said that somebody is coming, and the New Testament says that somebody is here. In Luke 4:18, Jesus tells his hometown synagogue worshipers in Nazareth that Isaiah 61:1 had prophesied that the Messiah was coming, and he, Jesus, proclaimed that he, the Messiah, was here. This was good news to many Jews who had long awaited the Messiah to liberate them from foreign rule, especially the brutal Roman occupation. This was the first Emancipation Proclamation. It resonated then as now to those economically poor, psychologically brokenhearted, sociologically captivated, spiritually blind, and politically oppressed. As Americans in general, we can relate to this theme of liberation. On July the 4th, 1776, a group of 13 motley colonists told Massa, England, I ain't gonna let nobody turn me around, and before I be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free. As African Americans in particular, 150 years ago this year, we experienced another Emancipation Proclamation that freed many of our ancestors from chattel slavery. While it was primarily a military strategy to save the Union, nevertheless, this executive order signed by President Abraham Lincoln kept hope alive to a mighty people and moved us closer as a nation to a more perfect union. In verse 19, Jesus expounds on Isaiah 61:2 by proclaiming the acceptable year of the Lord, his advent in human history as Redeemer, Lord, and Savior to all who believe. Here again, we see that motif of freedom is emphasized. Some refer to the acceptable year of the Lord as the year of Jubilee, every 50 years as decreed by the law of Moses, when all, both debtors and servants, were set free. The question is, when then is the acceptable year? I believe that Dr. King was right when he said in his sermon entitled Guidelines for a Constructive Church that the acceptable year of the Lord is any year when men and women decide to do right, and the church is called to preach it. The acceptable year. In national politics, 1968 was the acceptable year, when Shirley Chisholm became the first black woman elected to the United States Congress. In Georgia state politics, 1933 was the acceptable year, when Susan Tillman Moore from Tipton, Georgia, became the first woman elected by popular vote to the Senate. In sports, 1974 was the acceptable year, when Henry Hank Aaron became baseball home run king. In medicine, 1952 was the acceptable year, when Jonas Salk invented the Salk vaccine that cured polio. In education, 1954 was the acceptable year, when the United States Supreme Court ruled that separate educational facilities are inherently unequal, which allowed blacks and all people to have an equal opportunity to a free public education. In civil rights, 1965 was the acceptable year, when Bloody Sunday in Selma, Alabama, led to the passage of the Voting Rights Act of 1965 and the election of many black elected officials. In voting rights, 1920 was the acceptable year, when the 19th Amendment was ratified, which prohibits any United States citizen to be denied the right to vote based on sex. In music, 1979 was the acceptable year, when Ray Charles sang before this august body, Georgia on My Mind, and which you later adopted as the official Georgia song. Come on, fellow Georgians, let us proclaim this year, 2013, as the acceptable year. Let us proclaim, Georgians, 2013 as the acceptable year, to register the more than 1.5 million unregistered Georgians. Let's proclaim 2013 as the acceptable year to move from the bottom to the top in education, healthcare, and criminal justice. Let us proclaim 2013 as the acceptable year to declare unemployment as public enemy number one, to strengthen our marriages, families, and institutions. 2013, let's declare this the acceptable year to improve race relations, to vote on Tuesday, November the 5th, in municipal elections across the state. Let's declare 2013 as the acceptable year to pray for our nation, our president, and our world. Let's declare 2013 as the acceptable year to worship, praise, and obey him who came that we might have life and have it more abundantly. I believe that Jesus proclaimed 2013 as the acceptable year for us. It is a time of God's grace, mercy, forgiveness, and salvation. Let us receive it as the ultimate emancipation proclamation, emancipation from slavery of sin to freedom of eternal life. Keep strong, and God bless. Let me just say, this is the time where if I had the skills, I'd hoop, but I don't, so I won't. This is the time when you seek to say something profound, or to try to have a poem or some little quip or quote that will send you on. But in lieu of something profound, let me be prophetic. Brothers and sisters, 2013, this session is the most important session in the 21st century. Let the records reflect, and let us go back. This section, 2013, is the most crucial election cycle in 2013 and in this century. And my prayers are with you that as you seek to do what you are called to do, that God will be with you. And let me just remind you, Georgia Power, not on Ralph McGill Boulevard, but that's Georgia Power right there. That is Georgia Power, because you set the public policy that would affect us from now on. And during this session, history will record that when you mash that button, it will set the precedent and the course for generations to come. Let us pray. God of Mary, God of Moses, God of Martin. We received 2013 as the acceptable year. God, we humbly ask that you let justice roll down like waters and righteousness as a mighty stream. We ask that you let the redeemed of the Lord say so. And we ask that you let the words of our mouths and the meditations of our hearts be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, our strength and our Redeemer. In Jesus' name, amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Doorkeepers will unlock the doors. Chair recognizes the chair of the Committee on Information and Audits, Chairman Sims.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Your Committee on Information and Audits has read the proceedings of the previous legislative day and found them to be correct.
Is there any objection to the confirmation of the journal? The chair has reported that the journal of the previous legislative day has been read and found to be correct. Is there any objection to the confirmation of the journal? The chair hears none, and the journal is confirmed. The clerk will read the resolution establishing the order of business for the day.
Mr. O'Neill, the 146 moves following be established is the order of business in the first part of period of unanimous consents. Introduction of bills and resolutions, first reading and reference to bills and resolutions, second reading bills and resolutions, reports of standing committees, morning orders, rules, calendar, privilege resolutions through the resolution establishing the order of business for this legislative day.
Is there any objection to the adoption of the resolution establishing the order of business for the day? The chair hears none, and the resolution is adopted. For what purpose does the majority caucus whip rise?
Mr. Speaker, I move that House Bill 362 be transferred from Governmental Affairs to Industry and Labor Committee. I have consulted with both chairs, and they agree to this transfer.
Clerk will read the caption.
House Bill 362 by Representative Lindsay, the 54th. The bill will be entitled Act amending Title 13, Title 50, relating to bonds for public works contracts, competitive bid awards, and other problems.
On the motion of the majority caucus whip that House Bill 362 be withdrawn from the Governmental Affairs Committee and committed to the Industry and Labor Committee, is there objection? The chair hears none, and it is so ordered. What purpose does Chairman Hamilton rise?
What purpose do you ride? Teacher stuff.
Huh?
Why can't they tie it to the teacher retirement dates too?
Chair recognizes Chairman Hamilton for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The industry and labor will have an immediate committee meeting in the anteroom. Please come. Thank you.
All right, first reading of bills and resolutions. The clerk will read.
House Bill 431, Representative Dickey, the 140th. Bill to be entitled Act, amending Act incorporating the City of Culloden.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 432, Representative Mars, 156. Bill to be entitled Act, amending Act changing composition, election, Board of Election, Appling County.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 433, Representative Mars, 156. Bill to be entitled Act, Board of Commissioners, Appling County.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 434, Representative Weldon, 3rd. Bill to be entitled Act, amending Title 44, relating to liens, mechanics, and materialmen.
Judiciary.
House Bill 435 by Representative Willard of the 51st. Bill to be entitled Act, creating state court, Fulton County.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 436 by Representative Turner of 21st. Bill to be entitled Act, relating to persons ineligible to hold office.
Governmental affairs.
House Bill 437, Representative Willard of the 51st. Bill to be entitled Act by selection, Chief Judge, Atlanta Judicial Circuit.
Judiciary.
House Bill 438, Representative Powell, 171st, a bill relating to collection, additional legal costs, and civil action.
Judiciary.
House Bill 439, by Representative Howard, 124th, a bill to be entitled Act relating to qualifications, training requirements, exemptions.
Judiciary.
House Bill 440, Representative Watson, 172nd, bill to be entitled Act by new charter, City of Ellington.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 441, Representative Willard of the 51st, a bill to be entitled Act Administration, Budget, Superior Court.
Judiciary.
House Bill 442, Representative Willard of the 51st, a bill to be entitled Act Administration, Budget, State Court, Fulton County.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 443, Representative Willard of the 51st, a bill to be entitled Act providing appointment of magistrates, Fulton County.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 444, Representative Willard of the 51st, a bill to be entitled Act supplement salaries of judges, Superior Court, Fulton.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 445, Representative Hatchett, 150th, a bill to be entitled Act relating to local 5-mill share fund.
Ways and means.
House Bill 446, Representative Peake, the 141st, a bill to be entitled Act amending Title 29 relating to guardian and ward.
Juvenile justice.
House Bill 447, Representative Hatchett, 150th, a bill to be entitled Act creating Board of Commissioners, Lawrence County.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 448, Representative Kirby, the 114th, a bill to be entitled Act relating to unlawful enticement of game.
Game, fish, and parks.
House Bill 449, Representative Gravely, 67th, a bill to be entitled Act amending Code Section 50, 1872, relating to public disclosure.
Judiciary.
House Bill 450 by Representative Ballinger, 23rd, a bill to be entitled Act creating state court, Cherokee County.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 451, Representative Smyre, the 135th, a bill to be entitled Act, Code Section 1562, number of Superior Court judges.
Judiciary.
House Bill 452, Representative Jones, 47th, bill to be entitled Act, amending Act, Incorporated City of Milton.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 453 by Representative Stevens, 164th, bill to be entitled Act relating to computation, taxable net income.
Ways and means.
House Resolution 450 by Representative Rogers, 10th, recognizing Colonel Benjamin H. and Ann Grant Purcell and dedicating a road in their honor.
Transportation.
House Resolution 451 by Representative Epps, 132nd, a resolution honoring the life of Trooper John Frank Bass, dedicating a bridge.
Transportation.
Senate Bill 12 by Senator Kuhn, 29th, the bill to be entitled Act amending Title 51, General Provisions for Torts.
Judiciary.
Senate Bill 104 by Senator Guinan, 47th, Bill to amend Title 50 relating to the Department of Community Affairs.
Governmental Affairs.
Senate Resolution 113 by Senator Jackson, 24. Resolution authorizing granting of certain easements in certain counties in the state of Georgia.
State properties.
Through the first readings.
Second reading of bills and resolutions. The clerk will read.
HB 11 by Representative Waits of the 60th, a bill relating to written policies and procedures for operation of school buses. HB 17 by Representative Waits of the 60th, a bill relating to agricultural commodities promotion. HB 404 by Representative Earhart of the 36th, a bill relating to exemptions from certificate of need requirements. HB 405 by Representative Mayo of the 84th, a bill relating to elementary and secondary education. HB 406 by Representative Peak of the 141st, a bill relating to creation of county boards of equalization, duties, review, and assessments and appeals. HB 407 by Representative Powell of the 32nd, a bill relating to cancellation, suspension, and revocation of driver's licenses. HB 408 by Representative Jacobs of the 80th, a bill relating to allocating water and wastewater usage among tenants, charging tenants for usage, and measuring water usage. HB 409 by Representative Knight of the 130th, a bill relating to provisions applicable to counties and municipal corporations. HB 410 by Representative Beverly of the 143rd, a bill to amend an act to create the Macon-Bibb County Water Community Enhancement Authority. HB 411 by Representative Welch of the 110th, a bill relating to deductions from inmate accounts for expenses. HB 412 by Representative Harrell of the 106th, a bill relating to revenue and taxation. HB 413 by Representative Harbin of the 122nd, a bill relating to regulation and licensure of pharmacy benefit managers. HB 414 by Representative Smyre of the 135th, a bill to authorize the consolidated government of Columbus, Georgia to exercise all redevelopment and other powers under the Redevelopment Powers Law. HB 415 by Representative Smyre of the 135th, the bill to amend an act providing for a new charter for the countywide government of Columbus, Georgia. HB 416 by Representative Smyre of the 135th, the bill to amend an act providing for a new charter for the countywide government of Columbus, Georgia. HB 417 by Representative Smyre of the 135th, the bill to amend an act providing for a new charter for the countywide government of Columbus, Georgia. HB 418 by Representative Fleming of the 121st, the bill relating to the state administrative organization for revenue collection. HB 419 by Representative Fleming of the 121st, a bill relating to the state sales and use taxes. HB 420 by Representative Knight of the 130th, a bill relating to tax executions. HB 421 by Representative Knight of the 130th, a bill relating to motor fuel and road taxes. HB 422 by Representative Peak of the 141st, a bill relating to sales and use taxes. HB 423 by Representative Allison of the 8th, a bill relating to field and retriever trials, permits, and hunting licenses. HB 424 by Representative Jordan of the 77th, a bill relating to educational programs under the Quality Basic Education Act. HB 425 by Representative Jordan of the 77th, a bill relating to powers, general provisions relative to education. HB 426 by Representative Jordan of the 77th, the bill relating to elementary secondary education. HB 427 by Representative Drenner of the 85th, the bill relating to public officers and employees. HB 428 by Representative Waits of the 60th, the bill relating to the Department of Human Services. HB 429 by Representative Waits of the 60th, the bill relating to discipline of students in elementary and secondary education. HB 430 by Representative Parsons of the 44th, the bill relating to general provisions regarding state sales and use tax. HR 411 by Representative Hightower of the 68th, the resolution honoring the life of Trooper Lieutenant Joseph Joey Keith Boatwright, dedicating a bridge in his memory. HB 412 by Representative Drenner of the 85th, the resolution expressing support for an eastern corridor in metropolitan Atlanta, Georgia for bicycle traffic. Senate Bill 11 by Senator Carter of the 1st, a bill relating to general provisions relative to water resources. Senate Bill 69 by Senator Murphy of the 27th, a bill relating to the Department of Juvenile Justice. Senate Bill 86 by Senator Stone of the 23rd, a bill relating to stalking and criminal procedure. 3 second readers.
Reports of standing committees. The clerk will read.
Representative Roberts, 155th, Chairman Committee on Transportation, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Transportation has consideration of the following bill. The House struck me report the same back to the House with the following recommendation. House Bill 384 do pass by substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative Roberts, Chair, through the committee reports.
If you have signed up for a morning order, please be making your way to the front of the chamber so we're about to go on to morning orders shortly. What purpose does the Speaker Pro Tem rise?
To make a motion, Mr. Speaker.
State your motion.
I'd like to move that House Bill 170 be moved to the next legislative day.
Clerk will read the caption.
House Bill 170 by Representative Jones, 47th, the bill being entitled Act by Tax Relief for Fulton County, impose a cap on certain millage rate imposed by Fulton County.
On the motion of the Speaker Pro Tem that House Bill 170 be postponed to the next legislative day, is there objection? Chair hears none, and it is so ordered. We're going on now to morning orders. Chair is going to ask members that are doing morning orders to limit their remarks to 2 minutes each. 2 minutes each. We're going on to morning orders. House will come to order. Chair's going to ask that the aisles be cleared, that members that are in the chamber take their seats, give attention and respect to the member in the well on morning orders. Chair recognizes the Speaker Pro Tem of the House, Speaker Pro Tem Jones, for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I wanted to ask the other members of the House that wanted to join with me to celebrate Engineers Week. We had all this week, we have industry professionals, professors, our colleges of engineering here today and all week to remind us of the importance of engineering and what a difference it makes in the lives of our constituents and Georgia as a whole. In particular, we've got Dr. Robert McGrath from Georgia Institute of Technology, Dr. Gary May, the Dean, College of Engineering, and others up in the gallery. If you will please rise so that we can welcome you here to the House, Georgia House. Joining me up here are other members that either majored in engineering, attended our various schools, or work in technology, and thank you for giving them attention, and thank you for what you do. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Representative Holt for a morning order. Representative Holt.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, just wanted to let you know that Monday will be Audiologist Day here at the Capitol, and there will be free hearing screenings available in room 123 here in the Capitol from 9 a.m. till 2 p.m. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Representative Bell. Representative Bell for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, colleagues. Please join me today in welcoming a dear friend of mine, Ms. Letitia Campbell, who's a doctoral student at Emory in Ethics, Society, and Religion. Letitia brought her class with her today, who is a first-year class of Emory's Master's in Development Practice program. The students are working specifically on refugee, immigration issues, environmental issues, and poverty issues. And today they're here with us at the Capitol to see how government runs and to make connections between the work that we do and the policy issues that they're working on. So if you will join me in welcoming the students from Emory University to the Georgia State House. Thank you. Please stand. Thanks.
Chair recognizes Representative Taylor, Representative Darlene Taylor for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I come before you today to announce to folks that may not have heard yet, one of our former members, John Bullock, has retired. He was a senator, and he also served in this House. He is being honored in our community for a lifetime achievement. Many of you don't realize how his life has had an impact on the state of Georgia, agriculture, and particularly rural South Georgia. But I do have a resolution honoring him for his lifetime achievement, and if anyone would like to sign it, I have it over here. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Representative Jones, Representative LaDawn Jones, for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This morning I'm going to bring to you our Black History Fact of the Day, and I am honoring one of the women that I have long admired in Black history, Miss Carol Moseley Braun. Carol Moseley Braun was born in Chicago, Illinois in 1947. She attended Chicago public schools and received a degree from the University of Illinois in 1969. She earned her degree from the University of Chicago Law School in 1972 and went on to be an assistant prosecutor in the U.S. Attorney's Office in Chicago. In the latter years, she was elected to the Illinois House of Representatives and served in that body for 10 years. During her tenure, Moseley Braun made educational reform her priority, and she later became the first African-American assistant majority leader in the history of the Illinois legislature. Moseley Braun returned to Chicago in '88 to serve as the Cook County Recorder of Deeds. Later on, she ran and upset the incumbent Senator Alan Dixon in the Illinois Democratic Party in 1992 and went on to become the first, and let me say that again, the first female senator elected from Illinois and the first African-American woman in the United States Senate. During her term in the U.S. Senate from 1992 to 1998, she focused again on education issues. She was later defeated for her re-election for the campaign and also had issues marred by issues of illegal campaign donations, but she was never charged with misconduct. So she then began to serve as a Nigerian director ambassador to the Nigerian director, and she later defeated President Bill Clinton and was nominated as the U.S. ambassador to New Zealand. She also announced her candidacy for Democratic nomination for president. And although she did not win, she put her foot in the hat as one of the first African-American women to run for president. I want today to honor Ms. Carol Moseley Braun as a moment in African-American history. Thank you, Speaker.
Chair is going to ask that all members of the House that are in the chamber please return to their seats, clear the aisles. If you have critical, important meetings, you can take those into the anterooms. We're about to recognize some very distinguished Georgians that are with us today. And for an invite resolution, the chair recognizes Chairman Carl Rogers. Chairman Rogers.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, it gives me great pleasure to introduce to the House Lynette Holloman, the Student of the Year for the Technical Colleges of Georgia. Presently, she's enrolled at Atlanta Technical College, and if you would, please recognize her for being the winner of out of 190 students in the state of Georgia for the technical colleges. I'm going to let her tell you her life story.
Mr. Speaker, members of the House, first let me thank you for the opportunity to be able to share with you how technical education has changed my life. My name is Lynette Holloman, and I'm a business management student at Atlanta Technical College. I am also a mother of 8 wonderful children. Since being at Atlanta Tech, I've had the opportunity to speak to many other students, and what I have found is that we all have taken our own unique journey to get to this place where we have chosen technical education as our vehicle to success. My journey began as me always being a good student, but But I made some poor choices early on, which resulted in me becoming a mother very young. I dropped out of high school and later finished with a GED. But I've always been blessed with a little bit of wit and a whole lot of luck to land great positions with major corporations such as American Express and Morgan Stanley. Things were good. You know what? Things were great. But as you all know, things changed. The economy slowed, millions of people lost their jobs, and I was one of those people. And I was confident I'll do what I've always done, go out and get another job. Well, days turned to weeks, weeks turned to months, and months turned into over a year. And my $248 unemployment check was just not enough to support my family. First, we lost our home, then we lost our vehicle. Eventually, my family and I would find ourselves living in a small motel room with 2 beds and a kitchenette. It was at that moment when I realized that my wit and all my experience could no longer make up for what I lacked in education. So I enrolled at Atlanta Tech. And to be quite honest, I had tunnel vision. Give me that paper with my name on it, give me that degree because I need to work. Well, somewhere around the second semester, the blinders came off and my eyes were open to all that technical education had to offer. What I found was instructors that came with real industry experience, a diverse student body, and student organizations that would challenge me to compete. So today, I am proud to say that I have served as a student leader at Atlanta Technical College with a grade point average of 3.9. That's not all. I went from being homeless and unemployed to having a full-time job with great career outlook. I also enjoy a home with my children. That's not it. I won a brand new car courtesy of Atlanta Chevrolet's local dealers, a prize given each year to the state gold winner for TCSG. You know, although I am so proud of all that I've been able to accomplish thus far through technical education, I truly have no greater joy than being able to share that experience with my oldest son, who also received his GED from Atlanta Technical College and is now enrolled at Atlanta Tech with his wife. My youngest daughter graduated from the Atlanta Tech pre-K program and is excelling in kindergarten. Technical education has given me the opportunity to reinvent myself. For others, it's a second chance. And I know, hearing my story, it may sound extraordinary, but I can confidently state that it is just one of the many success stories of the technical college system of Georgia. What you do here to promote and fund technical education has played such a significant role in my family's success, and for that, I am forever grateful and indebted. So given this opportunity, I say thank you, but not just for me, but on behalf of every student enrolled in the 25 technical colleges across the state of Georgia. You are impacting lives. So I know that if I can do it with your continued support, anyone can achieve their dreams and success. Thank you.
Wow. I've got somebody else if you need a little break.
I've got them.
House will continue to be at order. The chair recognizes for an invite resolution Chairman Carl Rogers. Chairman Rogers.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, it gives me great pleasure to introduce the 2012 Instructor of the Year for the state winner of the Rick Perkins Award for Excellence in Technical Education. John Vanderville is the Instructor of the Year. The unique part of this is he is a chef. And I just got through telling the speaker we may need him next year to help us all out. Under his leadership, the enrollment for culinary arts program has increased 130% since 2008. Back in the spring of 2012, he opened another teaching kitchen in Effingham, Georgia. Vanderville was recently named Chef Educator of the Year by the Low Country chapter of the ACF. He has led student teams to win 3 consecutive American Culinary Federation ACF Southeastern Regional Championships in 2010 in the hot food team competition, back-to-back wins to the Knowledge Bowl competition in 2011 and 2012. Please welcome Chief John Vanderville to the podium.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, member of the House. It's a great honor to be here to speak on behalf of all the dedicated men and women who are, just like me, serving the technical college system of Georgia. You just heard Lynette's story, and this is when you have someone like Lynette, this is why we raise the bar, we excel in teaching, we raise our standard, and for that reason, we are successful. At Savannah Tech, over my tenure over there, yes, it's true, with the American Culinary Federation, the past 3 years we have been Southeast champion over 10 states, gold medal, silver medal. Next week we are on our way to Kentucky, and I'm going to try to repeat that again. For the past 3 years, because of the hard work, we were the top 4 program in the United States. We have been accredited by the American Culinary Federation with exemplary status and 7 years grant, when usually is 3 to 5. I have been in my career teaching in 3 different systems: private college, community college, and now technical college. And it's by far the more challenging, but also the more rewarding of every college I've been working. We have a great age gap. We have students coming from high school, and we have students that they are retrained because they got laid off and they need to change career. We are proud of our success. The technical college system of Georgia needs your continual support, and we always need you. Thank you very much for having me today.
Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Chair recognizes for an invite resolution Representative Barry Fleming. Representative Fleming. House will remain in order.
Mr. Speaker, thank you, and ladies and gentlemen of the House, it's my sincere pleasure this morning to have some ladies at the podium here with me today in honor of National Court Reporting Week. And if the clerk would at this time, I'd ask him to read the caption to a special resolution.
House Resolution 415 by Representative Fleming, 121st, and many others. A resolution recognizing February the 17th through the 23rd, 2013 as Georgia Court Reporting and Captioning Week at the Capitol, and inviting the Georgia Shorthand Reporters Association to appear before this body at a time and date to be designated by the Speaker of this House.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Mr. Speaker, we all know, especially those attorneys of us in the room, that we as lawyers think sometimes we're the most important person in the courtroom. Quite often, judges know they're the most important person in the courtroom. But I tell you, the most important person in the courtroom is the only person who can say actually what happened there, and that's the court reporter. Not only do these ladies with me today represent a profession that ensures that justice is ensued properly by taking down everything that's said in the courtroom, but they do a lot of work outside of courtrooms as well. Quite often, depositions and other proceedings, such as city council meetings and county commission meetings, are taken down when it's really important. For that purpose this morning, we have representatives of the people who are the impartial protectors of the records of the justice system of our nation with us today. At this time, I'm going to introduce to you and allow Ms. Carol Glazer with the Georgia Board of Court Reporting to come forward and say a few words.
My court report.
They're yours. That's
My
right.
court report.
You knew Canada.
This is fun. Speaker, members of the House, and staff, at this very moment, court reporters are quietly working in deposition settings and courtrooms across this state. As officers of the court, they ensure that the record being made is accurately reported and properly preserved. They play an important role in the judicial process and are vital to the administration of justice. Captioners are providing communication access to persons who are deaf or hard of hearing. On behalf of the 1,100 certified court reporters and captioners in the great state of Georgia, we're humbled by this resolution and thank this great body for your recognition. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We also have with us today in her entourage, we have Heidi Thomas with the National Court Reporters Association. We also have Melanie Fisher, who is the Vice President of the Georgia Board of Court Reporting, and the President, Cheryl Gillum, of the Georgia Shorthand Reporters Association. Thank you all so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Let's get a picture. And then I... We are going on to the rules calendar. Members will take seats, come to the floor, and the clerk will read the caption to House Bill 274. House Bill 274.
House Bill 274 by Representative Burns, 159th bill to be entitled Act entitled 27, related licenses, permits, stamps for hunting, trapping, or fishing so as to regulate the practice of falconry. The bill having been before the House Committee on Game, Fish, and Parks. Committee recommends bill passed by substitute, and this bill is being read today for its third time.
Mr. Chairman, before you go to the well, I see the word falconry in the summary of the bill. Is there a hidden provision in this bill that has to do with a new athletic facility here in Georgia? I'll let you answer that when you get in the well. Chair recognizes the chairman of the Game, Fish, and Parks Committee, Chairman Burns, to speak to the bill.
I can only say thank you, Mr. Speaker. You best read it closely is all I can tell you. No, there's nothing about a dome that pertains to this falconry bill that I'm going to present to you in just a second. Nothing pertains to a dome in this falconry bill. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Clerk, thank you. Members, good to be with you today. Good morning. I want to bring to you House Bill 274. It's a bill that I'll be fairly brief with. It is a brief bill, but it's a good bill. So it is important to a number of Georgians. Let me start off by telling you this bill does not create additional government regulation. In fact, it decreases the size of government by allowing our Georgia DNR to regulate the sport of falconry in our state and take away the burden that those folks who practice falconry in the state have of being regulated by the Fish and Wildlife Service. Let me tell you a little bit of what it does. We're attempting to replace Code Section 27217 with these facts. Falconers in Georgia are currently permitted by both DNR and the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. Going forward, it'll be just DNR. U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service has announced its intentions to eliminate the federal permitting part in favor of the state permitting. However, DNR will still be under the parameters set out for the falconry regulations by the feds. Now, in order for Georgia to be compliant with the federal parameters, and thus again eliminating the duplication of a federal license and a state license, changes to the current falconry regulation and statute are needed. If we don't enact this, as we hear from time to time, those folks that are our neighbors and our friends in this state who practice this sport will actually lose that privilege come August. So it's something that needs our attention. The falconry community in this state are supportive of this issue, as is DNR. Give you a quick overview of falconry in Georgia and its history. Falconry is about raptors. In its most basic definition, the definition of falconry is the hunting of wild quarry in its natural state by means of a trained bird of prey. Those trained birds of prey may be falcons. They're at the top of that food chain. Then, of course, in Georgia, we utilize the use of hawks of the different types that are native here and pretty close to us. This is an ancient sport. It's been practiced from 6,000 to 8,000 years. And it's just come back in Georgia, and it's really growing now. We have 179 licensed practitioners in our state. This definitely is a carrying on of an ancient tradition that's important to many people. Now, one of the practitioners that we had in the Capitol this week is a gentleman named Steve Hine. Steve is a friend of mine, a friend of many of you in this room. You've met him. Steve is the director of the Center of Wildlife Education down at Georgia Southern, does a marvelous job. He's an accomplished in the sport of falconry. He has conducted demonstrations all over this state and around our country. And Steve also is a pretty good painter, that many of you know that also. Steve holds the distinction of being a master falconer. And we were really appreciative of Steve bringing the bird up, his falcon, one of he uses in hunting practices, and telling us and explaining some of the things about a bird that soars up to 3,000 feet And if you vote red on this bill, you may be a little concerned. He may be circling out outside the Capitol. You can't see him at 3,000 feet, but he may come back and inflict some damage on you as you leave today if you don't see the practicality of this bill. Just giving you a heads up. Again, just saying. Again, this bill does reduce the size of government. It reduces the cost of government by having only one agency on the state level and not the federal and the state agency licensing the practice of falconry. That's about it. If I can answer a question, Mr. Speaker, I'd be glad to. It's a good bill. It does good work and allows people in our state to continue to practice, engage in a practice they love.
I think that visual that you painted for us has elicited some questions, and so Chair is going to recognize the chairman of the House Transportation Committee. He's concerned and has a question. Chairman Roberts, to your right.
Oh, I thought he was on my left. Excuse me.
Actually, a friendly question, kind of serious question. If we don't pass this bill, is it not true that a lot of that they will lose their rights to be able to do this in this state?
That's actually true, Mr. Chairman. As you know, as we deal with many federal regulations, as we remain compliant, there is a talk that they would even confiscate these birds. And I tell you, many of these birds are part of the family because falcons and hawks live for many, many years. And it's an important, not only as a family member, but as a sport. So thank you for the question.
You yield for further questions?
One more, Mr. Speaker, and
Chair
we'll move on.
recognizes Representative Beasley Teague to your left for a question.
I can hardly wait.
Well, she's on your committee.
She is. She's a good part of the committee, too. She was last I spoke to her anyway. In fact, she was one of my favorite members.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Will the gentleman yield?
I will, to my friend.
Now tell me, what will I see from how many feet up?
Ma'am?
What will I see from how many feet up? Anything? With my glasses on, will I be able to see at 3,000 feet up?
It's like a predator drone. You won't see anything until it happens.
Okay. That's what I wanted to make sure I heard that right. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Mr. Speaker, I think I'll yield the well on that one. And she still is a favorite member of my committee. And I ask your favorable support on this bill that protects falconry in the state of Georgia.
Gentleman has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee substitute? The chair hears none. The committee substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of House Bill 274 will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine on the passage of House Bill 274. The ayes are 165, the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Mr. Chairman, on behalf of Chairman Burns, on behalf of the House, would you please tell the Falcons that we did pass this bill so that we don't have to worry when we leave here today about that which we can't see until it's too late? Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 83. House Bill 83.
House Bill 83 by Representative Knight of the 130th. The bill will be entitled like amendment Title 7, relating to licensing of mortgage brokers and lenders and mortgage brokers so as to exempt licensed real estate brokers and salespersons assisting in short sale estate transactions. Bill has been for the House Committee on Small Business Development. Committee recommends the bill to pass. The bill is being read today for its third time.
Chairman of the committee has yielded to Representative Josh Clark to present the bill. The chair recognizes Representative Clark to present House Bill 83.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring before you HB 83. Ask for your favorable support. I'd like to thank Chairman Knight for carrying this bill and allowing me to assist. It's a privilege to help out with this bill as a realtor. This really is a simple bill. I know we always say that, but this is something you can go home and be very proud of. It's a short one-page bill that simply clears up some unintended language in a bill that was passed a few years ago in the Safe Mortgage Licensing Act. In that act, it inadvertently, unintentionally tied realtors to mortgage lenders in requiring, or actually bringing into question, according to the Department of Banking and Finance, that a realtor who's engaging and helping out with a short sale could be required to be a mortgage lender. And we want to thank the Georgia Department of Banking and Finance for bringing this to our attention. Realtors have been assisting homeowners with short sales as just part of their duties, as part of their job description. And at this point, without this clarification here, they could risk being charged with a felony. I don't think I look too good with stripes here for simply, again, just providing information to the lender or lien holder and helping their client through the short sale process. I have here with me letters from the Department of Banking and Finance in support of this really just clarification in this bill. I also have with me a letter from the Georgia Association of Realtors, and also in the Department of Banking and Finance letter, they express the support of the Mortgage Bankers Association in making this clarification. This passed unanimously out of the Small Business and Job Creation Committee, and it is an opportunity for us to be able to go back and help 26,000 plus small businesses by removing this maybe red tape, you may call it, or unintentional consequence of tying them in with mortgage lenders. If there are no questions, Mr. Speaker, I will yield the well and ask for your favorable support of HB 83.
You have no questions.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The gentleman has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of House Bill 83 will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine on the passage of House Bill 83. The ayes are 162. The nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 179. House Bill 179.
House Bill 179 by Representative Welch of 110th. A bill to be entitled Act entitled 26 relating to pharmacies, change certain provisions relating to the Pharmacy Audit Bill of Rights. This bill has been for the House Committee on Insurance. The committee recommends bill to pass by substitute. Bill is being read today for the third time.
Chair recognizes Representative Welch to present the bill. Representative Welch.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members of the House, I ask for your favorable consideration of HB 179. This bill closes a loophole in the Pharmacy Audit Bill of Rights to protect pharmacists during corporate and governmental audits with respect to the dispensement of drugs where there's been a clerical error in the file and the pharmacy benefit management groups are recouping the entire cost of the drug and not allowing for them to correct the clerical error in the file, even though the drug has been properly dispensed and in accordance with its with the prescription. This would close that loophole. It would also provide the ability for appeal and the ability to correct that clerical error. I'll take any questions.
You have no questions.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the will.
Gentleman has yielded the will. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee substitute? The chair hears none. The committee substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of House Bill 179 will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine on the passage of House Bill 179. The ayes are 161, the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 161. House Bill 161.
House Bill 161 by Representative Atwood, 179. Bill to be entitled Act and Title 15 relating to trial juries in general, so it's to change provisions relating to the oath of bailiffs. Bill having been for the House Committee on Judiciary, the committee recommends. Bill do pass. This bill is being read today for its third time.
Chair recognizes Representative Atwood to present the bill. Representative Atwood.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, I ask for your favorable consideration of House Bill 161. Essentially, this is somewhat of a cleanup bill. What it does is modernize the oath that we give to our bailiffs in their association and control of jurors, and it also takes out antiquated language. It was proposed by the State Bar of Georgia in association with our district attorneys and our judges, but it also does one other very important thing. In addition to limiting newspapers and magazines and other things, except as approved by the judge, it also controls these. We don't need our jurors reading newspapers and texting and that sort of thing during a trial, especially emotional trials or trials where they're sequestered, other than as allowed by the judge. So with that, Mr. Speaker, I will yield for questions.
You have no questions?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, ladies.
Gentleman has yielded the will. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of House Bill 161 will vote yes. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine on the passage of House Bill 161. The ayes are 159. The nays are 3. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 312. House Bill 312.
House Bill 312 by Representative Carson, the 46th. The bill will be entitled Amendment Title 33 relating to insurance holding company systems, provide for comprehensive revision, provisions regulating insurance holding company systems. Bill has been for the House Community Insurance Committee recommends the bill to be passed by way of a substitute. This bill is being read today for the third time.
Chair recognizes Representative Carson to present the bill. Representative Carson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, you're going to hear from your CPA banker colleague about a 36-page insurance bill, so let's just get ready, right? Okay. Essentially, this is just a housekeeping bill brought to us by our friends in the Department of Insurance. This is to update Georgia's already existing holding company law. It will make Georgia's law consistent with the model law adopted by the National Association of Insurance Commissioners as part of their most recent initiative. We're going to need this bill this year as a request from the department. Next year, if we don't get it, we're going to be at risk for our accreditation. Holding companies are associated with insurance companies through the form of JVs, limited partnerships, affiliated companies, and they could pose a potential risk to the financial health of the regulated insurance company through dividends, intercompany transfers, various related party transactions. What this bill does is 4 major revisions. Number 1, it requires the filing of an enterprise risk report. So basically, we're not just looking at just the insurance company, we're looking at any potential financial risk to the regulated insurance company. Second, it enhances the commissioner's access to financial records of affiliated persons with regard to the insurance company. Third, it allows the commissioner to coordinate an administrative hearing process for the mergers and acquisitions activity with insurance companies. Fourth, it grants the insurance commissioner the authority to participate in regulatory forums with other state departments of insurance and other regulators foreign regulators. This bill was passed unanimously at a subcommittee as well as full committee, and I do ask for your favorable consideration. Again, this is a housekeeping department bill from the Department of Insurance. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I'll be happy to take questions.
You have no questions.
I yield the well.
The gentleman has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee substitute? The chair hears none. The committee substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of House Bill 312 will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine on the passage of House Bill 312. The ayes are 160, the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. If you have not signed up for an announcement and have an announcement, you will not be recognized for that purpose unless you sign up with the messenger. We're about to do announcements.
disagree with the Senate. Yes, disagree. True. And then insist on the Senate. Yeah, we'll send it back over if they drop it. If not, when the drops, no, well, yes, we're going to go to the house. I think they can so thank you.
Clerk will read the caption. The House will be in order. House will be in order. We're still doing some business and got some more to go. Clerk will read the caption to a group of privileged resolutions. The clerk will read.
Resolution represents the following four resolutions are invitation resolutions being read for the first time today and referred to the Committee on Rules. A resolution represents Tankersley, the 160th, commending Georgia Southern University ROTC program and inviting the group to be recognized by the House. A resolution represents Smith of the 70th. A resolution congratulating Dr. Laurie Barron on being named the 2013 MetLife NASSP National Middle Level Principal of the Year and inviting her to be recognized by the House. Resolution Representative Smith, the 70th, recognizing and commending Blakely Pulaski Forestry Unit, inviting its members to appear before the House of Representatives. Resolution Representative Smith, the 70th, recognizing and commending Coweta Fayette South Fulton Forestry Unit on being named State Forestry Commission 2012 Unit of the Year, inviting them to appear before the House of Representatives. These resolutions are invitation resolutions being read for the first time today and referred to the Committee on Rules. Following resolutions are privileged resolutions being read for the first time today for adoption. A resolution by Representative Ralston. The 7th, recognizing commending Gilmer County School Systems Teacher of the Year, Tracy Jenkins. A resolution by Representative Roberts, 155th, honoring the 90th, celebrating the 90th birthday, Mrs. Virginia Elizabeth Petty Dormany. Resolution by Representative Tankersley, the 160th, recognizing commending a child is missing for outstanding service to disabled citizens and children in the state of Georgia. Resolution by Representative Pack of 108th, recognizing commending the contributions of Georgia Asian Americans, Pacific Islanders, recognizing February 28, 2013, Georgia Asian Americans, Pacific Islanders Legislative Day at the State Capitol. Resolution by Representative Dollar, the 45th, commending the Children's Advocacy Centers of Georgia, recognizing February 20th, 2013, Children's Advocacy Centers Day at the State Capitol. Resolution by Representative Gazaway, the 28th, congratulating the Banks County Leopards Wrestling Team. Several resolutions by Representative Ralston, the 7th, which recognize and commend individuals and groups and honor the life of memory of individuals. For Speaker Ralston, a resolution by Representative Deffenbaugh the 1st, congratulating the Dade County High School Lady Wolverine softball team, 2012 AA State Softball Championship through the privilege resolutions.
Is there objection to the adoption of the privilege resolutions? The chair hears none and the resolutions are adopted. We have very few announcements. I think everybody's kind of wanting to go home. Before we go on to announcements, though, what purpose does Chairman Dollar rise?
Mr. Speaker, I'd like to request HB 324 be moved from Judy non-civil to higher ed.
Chairman Dollar had a motion, and that motion was that House Bill 324 be recommitted from the Judiciary Non-Civil Committee to the Higher Education Committee. The clerk will read the caption.
House Bill 324 by Representative Dollar, the 45th, a bill relating to requirements, procedures, and conditions for verification of lawful presence within the United States.
On the chairman's motion that House Bill 324 be recommitted from the Judiciary Non-Civil Committee to the Higher Education Committee, is there objection? The chair hears none and it is so ordered. The chair recognizes, we're into announcements, and we only have one. Chair recognizes Chairman Carter for an announcement. Chairman Carter.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Governmental Affairs Subcommittee, the J. Powell Subcommittee will meet from 10 to 12 in CLOB 506 on Monday morning. Thank you.
take you out.
Chair recognizes the majority leader for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move this House now stand in recess until 5 p.m. today, and that the rules of this House be temporarily suspended, allowing you, Mr. Speaker, to cause the House to disagree to the Senate substitute of House Bill 105, which is the supplemental budget, and insist and appoint a conference committee on House Bill 105 should the Senate insist and return the same. Then, since you're the only one going to be working all afternoon, you're authorized at 5 p.m. to adjourn this House until 1 p.m. Monday, February 25th, and we appreciate your service greatly.
And I can't wait till 5 p.m., I'll tell you. All right, listen up to the motion now. I'm going to restate the motion. The majority leader has moved that this House be in recess until 5 o'clock p.m. today, and that the rules of the House be temporarily suspended to allow the chair to cause this House to disagree to the Senate substitute to House Bill 105, which, as he stated, is the supplemental or amended budget. And the motion goes on to that this House would insist and appoint a conference committee on House Bill 105 should the Senate insist and return the budget to us. Then at 5 o'clock p.m. the House would be adjourned until 1 o'clock p.m. on Monday, February the 25th, 2013. All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye. All those opposed will say no. The ayes have it, and if the Senate does insist and return the budget to us, and that we get to the point of insisting and appoint a conference committee on House Bill 105, the chair will appoint the following conferees. Representative England from the 116th District, Representative O'Neill from the 146th District, and Representative Jones from the 47th. This House has voted to adopt the motion. This House will be in recess until 5 o'clock p.m., at which time we will be adjourned until 1 o'clock p.m. on Monday, February the 25th, 2013.